Welcome to Screen Chat, live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca. I'm your host, Justin, and with me today I have a special guest. Welcome my boy Dawson to the show. Dawson, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, bro. This is sick.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. So, as you guys know, Screen Chat is your show all about the latest Marvel movies, DC Comics, Star Wars adaptations, and much, much more. Today we have a pretty fun episode. So, for you guys that don't know, I'm a huge fan of football, Manchester United. They're not the best club, obviously, right now.
Shocking.
But it's hard to talk about footy on a show like mine because, you know, we talk about pop culture, we're going to talk about sports. But today, I actually have a fellow podcast host, my boy Dawson. You know, you started a podcast recently. It's all about footy. And I'm like, yo, this is the perfect opportunity to get you on the show. We can talk about, you know, a little bit of footy there, a little bit of podcast stuff, then have a fun little discussion to end it off. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here, man. You excited for today?
Bro, this is unbelievable. I'm so excited. We've been talking about this for like 6-7 weeks, honestly. So
Yeah.
the fact we actually got it going is actually unbelievable. So I'm gassed to be here.
Yeah, man. So it's going to be fun. So with that being said, everybody knows me. We know Screen Chat. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast and what that's all about?
Yeah, so it's called 5ifty5ifty, and we started talking about it, maybe 4 months ago, and it's with my friend that I played college soccer with, and we realized there's not really anything out there to like promote Canadian soccer, and it's kind of growing a little bit, and we've been doing okay. So it's mostly to focus on Canadian football and where we're trying to go with it, our youth systems, grassroots. And then we do break into, like, every episode we'll talk about European footy and mostly Liverpool because that's the team I support. And, yeah, so honestly, it's been unbelievable. I think we're like 10 episodes in right now. We're about to do our first in-person podcast because it is virtual.
Yeah. Because
he lives in London and I live in Ajax, obviously. So, yeah, we're doing our first in-person podcast, which is the next one that comes out on Friday. So
amazing.
I'm gassed to see it, to be honest.
Yeah, man, that's going to be good. And, like, for those who don't know, where can we find the podcast?
It's on YouTube under 5ifty5ifty. We have a Spotify, but Spotify has been a bit weird. So the main place is YouTube.
Sweet,
YouTube,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, it's gonna be a fun discussion. I love 5ifty5ifty. I've obviously watched the episodes, and I remember like right off the off when you revealed that you were doing one, I was like, what? Like Dawson's doing a podcast? This is great. Like I obviously do one, and like I was just so happy to see like one of my good friends take a leap into, I guess, my element. You know, like I've been doing one for like about 4 years now, on and off different settings, but now to like do one professionally like this for a bit, and now to include you, so I feel like this is gonna be fun. So just with that being said, you know, you said you're about 10 episodes deep. What's been like your favorite part about doing a podcast? Like favorite parts?
Honestly, it's just cool to like I always talk about footy anyways. Like everything I do, I talk about footy. Me and Justin have arguments about footy every week, like, and it's just what I do anyway. So like doing it in a setting where I can get it out to more people is just so cool to me. And like we're just trying a bunch of different things and like seeing things, even like making our logo, I thought that was unbelievable. So like just like little things like that are just so cool to me that I never thought that I would even try. So even though we're 10 episodes in with like no real followers and nothing, it's just kind of cool to get started and stuff.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. And I feel like you kind of mentioned it's all back off it, just doing the little productions off camera are like so rewarding, you know, like the logo. Like I remember when Dan made our logo for Screen Chat, and I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever, man. And we hadn't even done an episode yet, so I definitely feel you on that. And now one thing that I do want to ask, because you did mention the footy, you mentioned European soccer, current day Canadian ball, how would you say that like those real life events affect what you do for your podcast?
Well, yeah, it's massive because we do a weekly. It's weekly, right? So throughout the week, I'll take notes on my like little iPad. We have a Google Doc, and we'll go through like real events that happened in football like this week, and then from there we'll kind of get rid of the ones that we're not going to talk about like too much, and then we'll take like 3 or 4 big topics, and we'll just talk about those, and then it ends up spreading into like so many different conversations. So yeah, if there's not really a week with football, it's like our podcast is kind of cooked. So
I hear that.
Everything's based off of real life events, and even like, so I can say it, I guess we're planning on doing like a lot of in-person stuff at TFC games,
nice
stuff like that. So like even our first in-person one that we're shooting on Sunday, we're actually doing it outside of BMO Field.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
man.
so like,
that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, so and Team Canada plays on the Saturday, so like we can talk about that. So yeah, it's really important that we have these real life events for us to talk about.
Yeah, man, I think it's really cool because like hypothetically, if like TFC is doing poorly, I know they're not doing the best right now.
They're awful.
Yeah, that's
to be honest, they're awful.
That's like a lot more traction in the context of like a lot of frustrated people giving different opinions on why maybe things aren't going well. So if you're outside BMO, right, you might have like 10 different interviews with 10 different takes on the current situation.
Again, and then we're trying to like in the future, we're trying to do like post game podcasts, literally at the field right as the game's over.
Yeah.
And then we could pull like 5-6 people for guests, but it's just
Yeah,
six
that would be
people onto the
awesome.
game, you know. So we do have a lot of like plans and ideas in the works. So we'll just see how it actually works out.
Yeah, and I love just hearing that in the sense of like, and we just said this off air. We talked about this for like 6 to 8 weeks, like you said. But once we finally actually sit down, it's like amazing. Once you guys finally do your first like your street interview, it's going to feel like the most rewarding thing ever, right? So I'm definitely excited for that.
Even like me walking in here, bro, my eyes lit up. Like it was so cool to me, bro. Like all this stuff is unbelievable.
Literally, man. And like, one thing about like footy, and you mentioned it, we have a lot of discussions, like whether it's good or bad. Wouldn't you agree that like a lot of like the podcasts that you do is literally just conversations with your friends with the recording button on?
Yeah, it's the same conversations that I have anyways, or like the same ones we have in a group chat or whatever, but like it's just me speaking in front of my laptop with a little webcam on it, like at this point, so it's like I'm gonna have the conversations anyways. Why not record it, make it something cooler?
Exactly, right? And I feel like, what's cool about that is that if we go into like our FPL chat with all those guys, I feel like any given day, someone could just screen record it and scroll. And you got like a mini like virtual podcast on there on Snap.
Honestly, I could shoot a podcast through an FPL group chat and just set at the top and I could just read what everyone's saying. And like all these different perspectives. But.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because like, well, when I watch your podcast, it's not like I'm watching, let's say like Dawson, the podcast host. It's just you, which I love, right? Like it's so cool to see like, my boy not put on like, let's say a facade or a character. And I know that like with the record button off, you're still going to tell me the same thing. And I really like that about your show.
I do try to be pretty like, I'm so me. Yeah. Like I'm so me in all aspects of life, even when I'm at work or whatever. So I don't think that, and it's easy when I'm recording from my room. Yeah. So I'm in my house anyways. So it's pretty easy. And it's someone that I'm comfortable with talking to. So I think it makes it so much easier.
I hear that, man. Well, one thing that I do want to ask you then about these upcoming like shooter interviews, if you will, do you have any like, I guess, not fears to say like your fears that stuff like maybe like won't happen, but do you have any like fears for maybe like crazy guests and crazy fans? Because you can never control that, right? Has that ever been like a discussion?
Nah, I kind of want it to happen.
Yeah.
Like I kind of, because that's what's gonna like.
It's like Arsenal Fan TV, right?
Yeah, that's what's gonna bring in like sort of like views or anything, and if it doesn't, it's funny anyways. So, like,
legit.
I'm really okay, and I'm not really like a fearful person of much things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 6'4".
I was gonna say, you know what?
I think I'm pretty intimidating anyway, so like I'm not too worried. And
I feel like maybe if this is me, I'd be a little scared, but that is.
And like, I think honestly, like, not to like boost myself, but I think I'm a pretty likable person. Like,
definitely.
Pretty easygoing to talk to, so I don't think that anything too bad will happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that because I didn't even know y'all had that cooking up. So yeah, that's gonna be great, man.
I was just talking to him. I was like, "Yo, can I talk about this?" Well, he's like, "Yeah, why not?" I said, "Yeah," so I might as well.
Yeah, man. So it's been a really good start to 50-50. Like you said, 10 episodes in, and I feel like from me to you as like someone that does this, you guys are definitely on the right track. And
Thank
like 10 episodes in to already talk about doing like streeters. We did screenshot for like a year and a half. We just did our first like student interviews like 2 weeks ago, right? So it's like it's cool to see like you already getting to that stage and already like thinking, yo, let's make this even better. So I'm really excited to see the future of 50-50, and I think first 10 episodes has been great.
Thank you, bro. I think that it's a bit easier with ours, of course, because again, we can go to BMO Field and we know everyone's there for like a specific thing, so we can kind of pull anybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like footy's just easy to talk about.
Oh, 1,000%.
And then so I think it's just pretty easy that way. So I think we're a bit lucky that we have that sort of topic.
Yep.
Where it's just everyone's going to be interested that we're going to, like the place that we're going to. So
yeah, amen to that. So I do want to stay on course because for me, I'm a huge sports fan. I don't really get a chance to talk about sports on here like that. So this is kind of like, my opportunity. So I have some questions for you. And, a little bit of banter, a little bit of serious stuff here.
Okay.
Just talking about like, the sports world, maybe bringing some pop culture. So you do not know these questions because I told you I'm going to keep these, a secret.
Yeah.
So for 50-50, question 1 here, who would be your dream guest to have on 50-50?
Well, my dream guest is different than somebody else's. So actually, no, it's not. We'll say Alphonso Davies because
there you go.
We're trying to go like we're focused on Canadian football. So obviously, I would say Steven Gerrard because he's like one of my favorite players of all time.
Who's that?
Nice job. But yeah, Alphonso Davies just because it's Canadian as well, and he's so good at this type of stuff.
Yeah,
like you see him like he does a Twitch stream almost every day.
Yeah,
And,
literally, yeah.
with his ACL, right? So yeah, he'd be amazing to have on.
I think his influence is great as well because he's like one of those athletes that, to your point, like he streams every day, and it's like if Alphonso Davies could stream every day, why can't anybody else, right? If he could talk about footy, he could like react to the things, even then play his own video games. It's like this is a guy that's not only probably I'd say the biggest Canadian athlete in the world. Maybe Shea, we'll get to that in a bit, but I'd say when you see somebody like that just being like one of the boys, it's very like inspirational to see.
Yeah, it is, man. So like those are always like my favorite players. Well, the ones that just like when you do see them in like the media or like on podcasts or whatever, they're just like so calm in themselves and just like they're not so media trained. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
like, so,
right?
Like, just free. So
Just like so relatable, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Relatable.
Yeah. So up next, this is a good one because I actually don't know your answer, but I think I kind of do.
Okay.
But I do want to like see if I'm wrong here.
Okay.
What would be your dream podcast setting?
Setting? Oh yeah, you know, it would be Anfield.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
100%. Like, yes, it's Canadian, but I don't care to stand in the middle of BMO if I can go to Anfield.
Yeah, like imagine middle of the pitch, you got the desk set up. You never know, right? You'll never walk alone being chanted. Well, you know, you never walk alone unless you want to do something else.
Unless you want to. No, unless you want to, man. Unless you do it yourself. That guy's...
I feel like Anfield is such a good shout. I mean, obviously you're a Liverpool fan, but that stadium, as much as like I don't like Liverpool, obviously, it is one of the better stadiums in world football on its day as well. You know, I know a lot of people call it the Liverpool Library, but
it's not, man. They've never been there. I went there in
yeah,
in
you were
October
there actually, yeah.
to versus Chelsea 1-1. It's the best thing I've ever been a part of.
That's amazing, man. And you know what's amazing too about that is that Eldon behind the scenes, he actually hates Chelsea.
Really?
Yeah, he hates Chelsea and Arsenal.
Go on, you.
And funny story. So I'm gonna tell them this. It's not too bad, but we went to a bar one time, and the bartender that was serving us is actually a Manchester City fan. And without any remorse, he just goes, "Yo, F Man City." We did not get any drinks from that server for the rest of the night.
To be fair, it's an oil club. Like he's a fake fan anyway. So.
Yeah, so Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea around these woods we do not like. So the fact that Liverpool,
and United too, but...
What do you mean, man? Manchester really is blue. You know what I'm trying to say. So
it is blue. Yeah.
Whoa! It's not sky blue. It is royal blue. So yeah, that is pretty cool. I was expecting you to say Anfield just because like it is the mighty Anfield, but I feel like if you were there though, you might slip.
This guy has jokes. Wow, you have the written down?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I actually just came up with that.
That's unbelievable for me.
Hey, man. So the next one that I have, this is more like personal.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know the answer to this at all. But what is your favorite podcast that isn't 50-50?
Man, there's two. So there's one is the Fozcast. So Ben Foster.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
And then the other one would be James Lawrence Alcott. I don't know if you know him.
No, I actually don't know that
So
one.
yeah, he has a podcast. It's unbelievable. He's so like analytical, and honestly, a lot of my podcasts, like I'll watch his before like I even finish my notes.
Oh, nice.
And I'll
There
like
you go.
take like one or two things, like just to like talk about the similar things, because he is really, really good at what he does.
Yeah, man, that's actually a great show.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely relate to that as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just looking at like YouTube videos on certain things beforehand. Like, for example, a couple weeks ago, I talked about this video game Until Dawn.
Okay.
And like so much lore in that to where like as much as I love the game, I need to see someone else's opinion and
100%.
point of view. 100%. And it's not like copying. It's just like, hey, man, you know what? Maybe I like this a bit too much, or maybe I didn't appreciate that enough.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
agree.
great that like you could at least branch out and see, okay, if this guy's saying this, then maybe I should also take a peek at that
And
as
if
well.
I do say something that he said, I'll mention like, not that anyone's watching me that hasn't watched it, but I will mention it just because I don't want to be like rude or nothing. That
Exactly. Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
that's a great
I
show.
actually spoke to him, James Lawrence Alcott, like, my first episode. I sent it to him and like I talked to him about it for a bit. So that was really
that's
cool.
amazing, dude.
Yeah, it was honestly really cool.
Yeah, man. I again love to see that. So next question here, and this is pretty funny because I wanted to kind of get my like pop culture world involved.
Okay.
So if you could watch a film with a footballer,
Yeah.
what film would you choose, and what footballer would you want to watch it with?
Like to watch with?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess I'll just choose my two favorites. They don't have any correlation, but like Doctor Strange is my favorite. Like I have a Doctor Strange tattoo.
Oh, that's
the Eye
right.
Agamotto.
Oh, that's
And then
so cool.
so I'd watch it with like probably Steven Gerrard. Yeah.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah. No like reason for like no correlation, but
Yeah.
just my two favorites. I
Get a
guess.
pack of Carlsberg, you know, OG days
you
right
get it,
there.
man.
Steven
You get
Gerrard
it.
and
You
Benedict
just get it.
Cumberbatch with this little ring right there.
I
That'd
love
be
it, man. I love it.
That would be fun, yeah. I actually didn't know you loved Doctor Strange like that, but I guess
Yeah,
you
man.
literally had the tat, so
Yeah,
I
I've
probably
had it
should have just
for,
put two
I
and
don't know,
two together.
2 years, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, I love Doctor Strange, and I feel like for me, it's one of the most like underappreciated Marvel films to this day in the sense of it doesn't get spoken about enough.
this
in
guy
my
gets it,
opinion.
man.
So
No,
that's a great
100%.
show
It's
from you.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, man. Okay, so next one. This is back to your element here. It's a big topic, especially after last night. Who is going to win the Ballon d'Or 2025?
Everything in me wants to say Salah, but it's just not, obviously. It has to be Ousmane Dembele.
Okay.
Treble. And Champions League is the most important when there's not really like a big international tournament.
Yeah, I
so
hear that.
it's going to be Ousmane Dembele.
It's hard for me,
In
man.
my opinion.
Yeah, because I really like Mo Salah. I know, obviously, I like Sadio Mane a bit more. But Mo Salah, to me, what he's done this season has almost been, like, ridiculous. It's probably his best season since his, like, first one at Liverpool.
It's so unreal.
And I feel like it's unfortunate that, and I'm not, like, bringing it up like that, but it's unfortunate that other players on Liverpool kind of failed to elevate his European season. And, like, no diss, like, I'm not going to discredit Dembele at all.
Yeah.
But, like, there's no, to me, when you watch football, and I like Dembele, but Mo Salah is just clear. So, like, I actually...
Mo Salah's a much better footballer.
Yeah,
Like,
and I wish Salah, even though he's a Liverpool lad, could get his respect on the Ballon d'Or podium, because even Sadio Mane a few years ago came second, right? Like, Mo Salah, realistically, should probably win it, but he's probably going to not even get top 5 because of Liverpool's, like, extended season.
It's unbelievable that somebody can break the, like, goals and assists record in a 38-game season, tying people with 44-game seasons.
Yeah,
and, like,
literally.
In a season where no one had Liverpool winning. I didn't have Liverpool winning the league.
I definitely did.
With Klopp leaving and everything. So the fact that he's had the year that he's had, and every game he's breaking a record, everything he's doing something, and it's not even like people are discrediting him, not even giving him a show at the Ballon d'Or. So again, I would love to say Salah, but I think the Champions League just matters too much in these years with no international football.
I know, man.
So I do think Dembele is going to win.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's kind of, I'm a big Rafinha fan, I'm not going to lie. I want Rafinha to win so bad. The domestic treble in Spain was dunking on everybody's heads. But it's unfortunate that they didn't go to the UCL final. And I feel like, to your point, when Dembele wins a treble with that Champions League, it's like, oh man, it's kind of hard to beat that. So we'll see what happens. Before I actually move on, you know, I want to know your thoughts on this take. A friend of mine, Real Madrid fan, so despises FC Barcelona. He believes that Achraf Hakimi should win the Ballon d'Or over Rafinha and all
I
those
don't
guys.
think that's a terrible show.
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
He's had a phenomenal year, and he's been so consistent.
You know, he said that to me when we were watching the game, the UCL final, and I was like, I just never thought about that.
No, that's not a
So
terrible
then
show
after
at
the
all.
game, I had to post it saying, yo, it's time to start the narrative, bro.
So again, I just don't think that like the Ballon d'Or will ever go to right back. To be honest with you,
I know.
But if I was to give my Ballon d'Or, I would actually give it to Vitinha.
Yeah, that's
He
a
is
good take,
unbelievable to watch.
He's a great footballer.
He is
man.
unbelievable.
The way he flows through that midfield is like, it's inspirational,
He's
man.
so good.
I love him.
He gets like 120 passes a game, and
It's nuts.
It's not all backwards. Like he's so progressive. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a great midfielder for sure. Okay, cool. So next question. I kind of teased it earlier, and I think I know your answer, but Canadian athletes you taking right now, Shea or Alphonso Davies?
I'm not like massively into basketball. Like I do like basketball. Jason Tatum's my favorite player. I like the Celtics. But again, like I'm always gonna say Fonzie.
Yeah, that's valid.
I think footy's the biggest sport in the world. So I feel like our biggest athlete in the biggest sport is gonna be our our biggest.
That's valid. Yeah, I know. A lot. Funny enough, a lot of people don't love that Shea doesn't rep Hamilton as much. Off the record, I wouldn't rep Hamilton
Why would you?
Like, if I was from the Hams, I'm claiming Toronto or Mississauga, right?
Yeah, but like again, if I'm talking to people from a different country and they're like, "Where are you from?" I don't say Ajax, Ontario. I say Toronto.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Like, bro, what's an Ajax, bro? Like, come on.
I have no idea.
Shout out, bro. Fun fact for y'all, if you know, we grew up on the same block. So
yeah, we're like 5 houses down from each other. Yeah,
it's just crazy, man. So like I said, I when you teased it earlier about Alphonso Davies, I'm like, oh, okay, so I kind of know his answer then for this one. So back to my kind of realm. I did an episode a few weeks ago with some of my boys. We talked about sports video games.
Okay.
What is your favorite sports video game of all time?
Street 3. FIFA Street 3.
Oh, that's a shout right there.
Unbelievable.
I didn't even think about that.
FIFA Street 3 by far.
Who was on the cover of that one again?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry if that's on the spot.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. Maybe, I think Ronaldinho's on. It was like Ronaldinho, maybe Cristiano Ronaldo. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you at this point.
Yeah, I'm googling this quickly.
But that's FIFA Street 3 was when I the first time I ever heard of Neymar.
Oh, there you go. And that tell us about Neymar right there.
Oh my God, Neymar's like top 3 favorite players of all time.
Yeah, we got Ronaldinho in like character form. Yeah, okay, this is a peak.
Yeah, so Neymar, like everyone falls in love with football because of a player usually.
Yep.
And a lot of people is Ronaldinho. Mine was actually the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yes.
And then obviously like he retired, so I was watching Brazil anyways, and like a 15, 16 Neymar was on FIFA Street, and I was gross with him. So then I went home and I was watching like everybody did at that time. When he was 16, everyone was watching Neymar highlight clips.
Yeah, it was insane, man.
And I just fell in love with him. So he was my favorite player for so long.
Yeah, I love Neymar, and I feel like Neymar disrespect is actually just you don't understand footy. Like, you just had to be there to really understand.
Anyone that says that he's not third of this generation is so unbelievably far wrong.
I know.
It's crazy.
How can we wake up and be different today, you know?
That's literally what it is. When he retires in his next like a year or two after that, retirement's going to treat him very well.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Fun fact for me about Neymar, I almost said Neymar from Marvel. But Neymar, for me, I actually found out about him through the video game Guinness Book of World Records in like 2012, and he's in it for FIFA Street 3.
No way.
So now that you've said that, that's really how I discovered Neymar as well.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was disgusting. But yeah, man, that's a great show. And you really liked young Neymar back in 20 whatever it was. Yeah. Let's talk about today. Who is your favorite young talent right now in footy, would you say?
Favorite young talent? What's considered young?
Let's call it like U21.
I'd say my favorite players are like Kavitra and Xavi Simons.
Okay.
So outside of Liverpool, obviously. Yeah. U21 though, like everyone wants to say Desiree Doué. I like Desiree Doué, but I'm not like
in love with them.
Yeah. I really rate John Neves on PSG as well.
Yeah, he's class,
so
man.
Good. He's so good. But their team's just so gross to the point where like he doesn't even get any like
credit. He's like the unsung hero. He's kind of like the Casemiro because he's playing with like guys like Vitinha around him. So
yeah, and he's been playing right back, and then he'll go back to center mid, and he'll just do the lot. So yeah,
that's not a bad shout at all. But now this is where things kind of get spicy here. Okay. Eldon, get ready to pull this one up. Question of the day.
Yeah.
Will Trent Alexander-Arnold succeed at Real Madrid? And as we see this wonderful image up here of the best English fullback of all time, Trent.
What are we talking
What a
about?
footballer, man. And look at him.
What are we
look at
talking
him, man.
about?
There's not a better footballer I've ever seen play right backs besides Trent. Nobody.
No better right back ever.
Ever, yeah.
What
I said English ever. Philip Blom, who? Danny Alves, what? Trent Alexander-Arnold, yes. And you can't lie. When he was wearing red, you probably also thought the same.
Brother, the things I said about him when he was wearing red was unbelievable. But he can bin. I hate him. He's my least favorite footballer on the planet. He's such a loser.
So tell the crowd, how many Trent jerseys do you own?
Man, I have 7 Trent kits. 1 signed. I have a Trent Poppet.
Yep.
I have a shirt with just his face on it. I have another shirt with his face on it that says, "I'm not watching if Trent's not playing." I think so the one that was in the frame, the signed one, I smashed the frame.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it happened the other day. I can't stand him, man. I despise him.
So we said about 6 months ago that if Trent leaves Liverpool, you would sell me one of the England ones or something. Seems like I could just get them all.
You could just take them all. You could take them all. He's been such a loser about it. Like the way he's gone about leaving is so poor.
I feel like with Trent, he's a Scouser, 20 plus years at the club. Not a Scouser. I guess he's not anymore, right?
No.
I feel like Trent to Mbappe might be the greatest combination I think I'll ever see.
Oh my God!
I can't wait. You got the best English right back ever, feeding the ball to the best French attacker of all time. It's a match made in heaven.
Why is Gary Neville passing the ball to Thierry Henry?
I rate that. I rate that.
But no, yeah. Back to your original question. Will he succeed? Like, yeah, he's extremely gifted at football.
Yeah.
He's a genius, to be fair, and his passing ability is second to none. And their attack is so direct and pace heavy. So everything's just gonna be over the top and behind, and that's what he's gonna succeed at. So
yeah.
Hopefully, he tears his ACL or something. But other than that, yeah, he'll probably succeed.
Yeah, all jokes aside, I always loved Trent because obviously I support England. It just always sucked that he played for Liverpool. But now that he's on Real Madrid, I'm excited to see him just as a fan of the sport.
He's awful.
And yeah, I also just the tears, man. I love it. So got a couple more questions here. This one we're going to go back to pop culture, and this is putting you on the spot. God. If I were to play a footballer in a film, who do you think I would play?
David Luiz because of the hair.
Okay, I'll take it. Even the personality too.
Yeah, pretty similar, pretty similar.
That could work. I was like, you know what? I wonder what he would say to that. I feel like if you were to play footballer in a movie I'm making, I'm picking Trent.
This guy's a muppet.
Oh, you could play Trent in one scene and then Van Dijk in the other. I feel like that's valid.
Let me play Van Dijk, bro. I don't want to play that loser. So.
Okay, and then the final question of today.
Okay.
And I could not have you on without asking you this, okay? 2020 Montverde or 2016 Chino Hills?
This guy is such a loser. Chino Hills.
What about Caden? Bro?
I don't care about
That's
Caden.
Caden.
I don't care about Caden. Don't care about Caden.
I feel like for about like 2 years, I just randomly would ask you that question.
Every single day.
Send you the edits, just say, bro,
Yeah,
like,
man.
who's
No.
gonna win?
Chino Hills.
Honestly, like for guys in our generation, I don't know how that's even a discussion. It's obviously like Chino Hills.
Man, they're so gross.
I don't know why that was ever like a take. I know Scotty Barnes, I think, was on Montverde.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
to
the
me-
team was gross.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
But like, dude, it's Chino Hills, man.
Chino
It's the
Hills.
Ball brothers, and then it's like the guy that went to Atlanta, whose name I
can't believe
forget.
that's your last question.
I was like, how do I close this out in a good way? But I'm like, you know what? Yes. Montverde. Honestly, yeah, it has to be Chino Hills. I feel like that's just a generation thing. I know it's only
Yeah.
4 years, but
Yeah.
like nobody from our day would ever compare those two teams
No one would say
seriously.
Montverde, no.
But yeah, man, before I close it out, I just want to say thank you again so much for being here. You know, it means a lot to me. I feel like for what people don't know behind the scenes is that, and like I'll say this to your face too. I don't think I've ever said this to you, but my like bright personality and confidence really came from you. I feel like you know those nights, but all those nights of sending me those snaps, it was going in those snaps, and I feel like for me, like that's when I really like got out of my shell to say, you know what, like yeah, people that I don't even know still like know who I am, and like I could gravitate to like a certain crowd, and I feel like without that, I don't think I am who I am today, and I genuinely mean that. So I appreciate you, broski.
Thanks for having me. Honestly, this is sick. It means a
Yeah,
lot
man,
to me.
this has been amazing. And make sure you guys check out 5ifty5ifty on YouTube and on Instagram. We'll put them in the descriptions there. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, bro.
And I just say on every episode, please enjoy your F&F Friday. Stay safe out there. You know the vibes.
What is that?
That's how we close every show.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah, you
Thank
know
you
the
so much.
vibes.
Honestly, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for being here,
My
broski.
brother. My brother.
I've been Justin. Thank you, Eldon, behind the scenes for Tyken. And thank you so much, Dawson, for being here today. This has been Screen Chat. Thank you so much for watching live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca.